Hi, if you follow me on YouTube for a while, you'll know that during some of my longer videos, if I have a pause or a bit of a break, or especially if I'm doing a long video, I will often say that I'm just going to go and make a cup of coffee, something I do really enjoy. And even at work, we do get through quite a few cups of coffee or tea during the day. My problem is sometimes if I get busy or if I have to go and talk to someone or serve a customer, then what I do is I let my coffee start to go cold. Nothing worse than a cold cup of coffee. So what I wanted to do was to look for something on the market that could keep my cup of coffee warm, so that if I do get busy, and then whenever I go back to it, it's always going to be nice and warm to carry on drinking it. And this is what I found. So this is by a company called Ikago, and this is called the Heat-Coaster-pro full set. And what I wanted to do was to basically unbox it, get it all set up, and then to give it a go. Because this cup of coffee is pretty warm at the moment, but I'm sure even though I've only just started to record this and it's still pretty warm, by the time I've got this all done, it's going to need to be warmed up. So anyway, let's get this unboxed and see what it is all about. So, first of all, I must say, when it first arrived, I know packaging doesn't really mean a lot, but when I first opened the box and the packaging, I'm actually really impressed with how it looks. As I say, it doesn't mean anything to the product, but I personally think if a manufacturer is willing to put time and effort into how the packaging looks and the quality of the packaging, then I think it goes a long way to how the actual product will be. So that's the pad that it's going to sit on, the cup itself. And we've got a spoon in here. It's got a picture of the spoon on the front. That's how I know it's a spoon in there. There we are, cheeky little spoon. That's quite funky actually. I quite like that. And it's even got the Ikago name embossed on it. So that's really good. Let's pop that to one side. We've got a mug in here as well. I must say, this is actually a really nice mug. It says on here, so it says 100%, you probably can't see that, it says 100% handmade. And I've got this thing about mugs, and I'm probably, whether I'm quite rare or not, and you can let me know if you think about this, but does drink taste any different to the type of mug that you've got it in? So I always like one with quite a big handle like this. I'm not really into cups or mugs where it's got a little handle, just a couple of fingers. I like to have quite a nice solid grip, but I actually really like that. I think this is going to be quite a future contender for a future mug that I'm going to be using. And really the idea is that that will sit on there. And what have we got in here? So that's designed to sit on the top there. So I think what I need to do is I'm just going to pop some of the packaging to one side, then we can get it plugged in and start to have a look at it. So now I've got it plugged in, what I want to do is just switch it on, and you've got the on and off button on the side here, and you've got the little display on the front. So first of all, it shows 175 degrees Fahrenheit. That's the temperature that I'm aiming to get it to, or which is around 80 degrees centigrade. So that should be more than warm enough for my cup of coffee. And as you can see at the moment, we're only at around 107 degrees Fahrenheit. So it's quite a way off. I suppose since I made it probably about 10-15 minutes ago, it's cooled down while I started recording the video. But I want to get it back up to a much higher temperature. And as you see, it will gradually rise. So at the moment it's just gone up by 1 degree there, up to 108. And I must say, I can actually feel the heat underneath. I'm not really sure what I expected, because clearly it's a heating pad. It's going to heat up the bottom of the cup. And there are certain materials of cup that you can and can't use. So clearly something like this is a ceramic mug, and that will work fine on there. It's recommended not to use glass or quartz cups, as the detectors, it probably won't recognise the glass or quartz cups. And also it's recommended not to use things like paper or plastic or styrofoam kind of cups, because it just won't work properly. So I'd just recommend sticking with your ceramic mug. And I know I've just stuck with mine rather than using this nice fancy new one, which I will be using in the future. I suppose it's purely that I'd already made my cup of coffee in this mug, so I was just going to carry on using it. Clearly, if you're going to use this, where you've got the lid on it, then it will, I suppose, get up to temperature quicker. And also what you'll find is if you are going to go away and if you're going to be busy for a couple of minutes, once it's reached the temperature, then if you've got the lid on there, then it will maintain the higher temperature for a lot longer. But on the front here, you can see that it's working its way up. You know, it's gone up pretty quickly actually to 126 degrees Fahrenheit. But I'm still going to leave it at 175 because that's the temperature that I want it to get up to. But the temperature range that it goes from is between 105 degrees Fahrenheit or 40 degrees centigrade all the way up to the temperature that I've gone up to, which is 175 degrees Fahrenheit or 80 degrees centigrade. So here in the UK, we tend to use centigrade a little bit more than Fahrenheit. And if you wanted to change the display, then all you need to do is just press and hold the plus and the minus for a second or so, and then it's changed. So as you can see at the moment, we're at 54 degrees centigrade, and I want to try and get up to 80. I can actually feel the bottom of the mug is actually pretty warm now. And I suppose all it needs to do is just to warm the rest of the drink up. I suppose if you wanted to speed it up, then I could use the spoon to stir it. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to leave it. So I'm going to leave it for a couple of minutes and just see how long it takes to get up to around 80 degrees centigrade. I'll just mention a couple of other things. First of all, it has got a status bar on the front here. So at the moment, it's showing a blue status bar. So that's cooler than the set temperature. Once it gets to green, then that means it's perfect to drink. That's the temperature really ideal for your cup of tea or cup of coffee. And then if it does show red, then that will mean that it's hotter than the set temperature. So really it shouldn't get hotter, because really in theory, once it gets up to the temperature, then it will switch off. But what it will do is if it detects that there's no mug movement for around 2 hours, then it will actually switch off, which is fantastic, because what you will find is if I just left that on there, clearly it's going to get up to temperature and it will just sit at 80 degrees centigrade until I take it off. So I'm really glad that there is the automatic shutdown after 2 hours if it doesn't move. Also, if it detects that I took the mug off and there's nothing on there for around 15 minutes, then again it will switch off itself. But really what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to leave it to see how long it takes to heat up to 80 degrees centigrade. As you can see here, we've got the green status bar, so that means that it's actually perfect temperature for drinking your cup of tea or coffee, and just as I was talking, it's just reached 80 degrees centigrade. That's taken, I'd say, probably around 10 minutes altogether, which in the grand scheme of things isn't actually that bad. It's actually really good. I'm actually really impressed with that. And let's just give it a quick taste. Oh yeah, that's actually warmer than I thought. But anyway, as I say, I'm actually really impressed with it. Just things like the build quality, how quick it's heated everything up. It actually tastes a lot nicer than, I know sometimes you might pop a cup of tea or coffee into a microwave. When you heat it up quickly, it's never that nice. Also, the cup gets really hot, or it does with some of the cups and microwave I use anyway. But if you're as impressed as I am with this, and if you're thinking of purchasing one, I've provided a link below to show you where to get one at a competitive price. Hope you enjoyed this quick video on the ikago-heat-coaster-pro full set. I would appreciate it if you click subscribe on my YouTube channel, leave any comments below. I always ask for comments, whether it's good or bad, about the video. If there's something you've come here to watch, and if I've not covered it, just pop in the comments and I'll get back to you, because this is going to be something I'm going to be using in the future, especially on my desk in my office at work. But as I say, I always appreciate any comments that you make on the video. Also, if you have got one of these, if you're currently using one of these, then let me know what you think about it, because I do always appreciate the honest feedback. Thanks for joining me today.